You know those phrases that sound beautiful on Instagram captions, but fall apart in real life? Like, when it's meant to be, it will be. Yeah, that line belongs on a cheap mug in a gift shop, not in your love life. Because here's the ugly truth. When it's meant to be, it's not going to feel magical, effortless, and smooth. It's going to hurt, annoy you, and confront you with everything you'd rather avoid in another human being. Welcome to real love, where there are no soulmates. Just two flawed people trying not to kill each other, and maybe building something meaningful along the way. We grew up believing in the myth of the right person. Not your fault. It was Disney's fault. Romantic comedies, pop songs, that one couple on Instagram who pretends their life is perfect when, in reality, they just argued about who left the towel on the bed. The idea of a soulmate is like Plato's story of the other half. In the Symposium, he wrote that humans were once whole, split in two, and now we're all searching for our missing part. It sounds poetic, sure, but Aristotle already warned, love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies. And yet, if you've ever been in a relationship, you know it's not that magical. It's messy, it's confusing, it's sometimes boring. The philosopher Kierkegaard once said, "Marry, and you will regret it. Don't marry, and you will also regret it." That's the paradox of love. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. And here's the thing nobody tells you. The soulmate myth doesn't bring you closer to love. It keeps you single, because nobody will ever check every box in your romantic checklist. No one is perfect. And ironically, the more you search for the one, the more you become the wrong one for everyone else. So today, we're going to kill this illusion together. This isn't a funeral for romance. It's a wake-up call. Because only when you bury the fantasy of perfection can you finally discover the brutal, messy, beautiful reality of love. So grab your coffee, keep doing your laundry, wash those dishes, and let's talk about why real love only starts when you let go of the soulmate myth. Think about this. You're scrolling through Instagram. You see that one couple, always smiling, traveling, posting sunset selfies with captions like forever and always. You think, wow, they must have found their soulmate. But what you don't see is them arguing last night over who forgot to take the trash out. You don't see the passive-aggressive silence after one of them made a sarcastic joke that cut a little too deep. You don't see the tears behind that perfectly filtered photo. That's the illusion of the soulmate myth. It's Photoshop for emotions. We've been trained to think there's this perfect other half waiting out there. Someone who will love the same indie movies as you, hate pineapple on pizza just like you, and have the same exact childhood trauma as you. So you'll finally feel understood. But let's be real. The people you meet in real life, they're messy. They come with baggage. They have exes who still stalk their profiles. They have weird playlists, annoying habits, and that cousin who never shuts up at family dinners. Yet, here we are, swiping endlessly on Tinder, like shoppers at a supermarket of souls, looking for the perfect brand, the flawless match. But love isn't Amazon Prime. You don't just add to cart and get free shipping on eternal happiness. Nietzsche once said, "There is always some madness in love, but there is also always some reason in madness." And that's the thing. Real love is not about finding a perfect mirror of yourself. It's about learning how to dance with someone else's madness. But we avoid that. Instead, we binge-watch relationships the way we binge-watch Netflix shows. The moment an episode or a person gets boring or messy or confusing, we cancel subscription and jump to the next one. Except people aren't shows. They're not here to entertain you. They're here to challenge you. And challenge feels uncomfortable. It scratches at your ego. It makes you face parts of yourself you'd rather mute. Let me give you a story. A friend of mine used to believe in the soulmate myth with religious devotion. she had this list of must-haves. He had to be tall, play guitar, love dogs, hate reality shows, understand her sarcasm, and ideally never get jealous. Guess what happened? She dated a guy who ticked almost every box. At first, it was magical, like a Netflix rom-com, but then came the reality. He snored. He forgot birthdays. He hated texting back. He laughed at memes she didn't find funny. And you know what? That was enough for her to throw him out of her life like a failed pilot episode. The irony? Years later, she admitted that he was one of the most supportive partners she ever had. But she couldn't stand the imperfections because she was still worshiping the false god of soulmate love. Seneca wrote, "We are always complaining that our days are few and acting as though there would be no end of them." And I think love is the same way. We complain that we can't find the right person, but we act as if there will always be another perfect option, another swipe, another chance. But here's the harsh reality. That mindset leaves you alone, not because no one loves you, but because you refuse to love a real, imperfect human being. Think about it. Every time you demand perfection, you become impossible to love. Because love isn't about checking boxes. It's about ripping up the damn list and learning how to live in the chaos of another person's humanity. And here's the cosmic joke. The more you search for a soulmate, the more you sabotage your own chances at love. It's like searching for the perfect pizza. You'll keep jumping from place to place, complaining that this crust is too thin, that cheese isn't stretchy enough, until you die hungry. Meanwhile, real love was sitting right in front of you, in the messy, slightly burnt, imperfect slice. So maybe the question isn't, how do I find my soulmate? But rather, how do I stop running from the messy, imperfect, raw reality of love? Because, and I hate to break it to you, the soulmate doesn't exist, but love does. But the Greeks, who literally invented the concept, never meant it the way we interpret it today. Plato, in his Symposium, tells the myth of humans once being whole, then split in half by the gods, condemned to wander the earth in search of their missing piece. It's poetic, sure, but what's ironic? Plato wasn't saying, find your perfect other half. He was showing how desperate we are for completion, how fragile and broken we feel without another. Fast forward to today. That myth mutated into Tinder bios and astrology apps. Now, we're not searching for completion. We're shopping for an ideal product. Arthur Schopenhauer, the philosopher of pessimism, once said, "Marriage is a debt that a man owes to the species in order to pay for his existence." In other words, love isn't about your fairy tale happiness. It's about survival, reproduction, chaos. That's not sexy. That's not Disney. But it's brutally honest. And Nietzsche? He demolished the soulmate myth entirely. He argued that love isn't a union of perfect halves, but a battlefield of wills. Love is not consolation. It is light, he wrote. Meaning, love doesn't calm you down. It burns you, exposes you, forces you to confront the darkest parts of yourself. Now think about that compared to the Instagram couple with matching outfits and cute captions. That's not love. That's PR. That's marketing. That's brand management. Jean-Paul Sartre had an even darker take. He believed relationships are tainted by what he called the gaze. When you love someone, you inevitably reduce them to your idea of them, your projection, and they reduce you to theirs. That's why Sartre famously said, "Hell is other people." Because in love, you are never fully free. You're trapped in their perception of you. Albert Camus, on the other hand, didn't waste time on illusions of eternal love. For him, life itself was absurd, meaningless, chaotic, indifferent. But instead of despair, Camus offered rebellion. The struggle itself toward the heights is enough to fill a man's heart. Apply that to love and you get this. There is no perfect soulmate, but the struggle to build meaning, to create intimacy in the middle of chaos. That's what makes love worth it. And let's be real, doesn't that sound more authentic than waiting for some flawless prince or princess? Real love is absurd. It's two people choosing each other again and again, even when it doesn't make sense. It's arguments about toothpaste caps, apologies whispered in bed at 2 a.m., compromises you swore you'd never make, and forgiveness for flaws you swore you couldn't tolerate. Here's the brutal truth. The soulmate myth isn't just false, it's dangerous. Because the moment you believe there's someone better out there, you stop loving the person in front of you. You compare, you fantasize, you hold back, and in doing so, you sabotage what could have been real intimacy. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." If we apply this to love, you can't control whether you meet the one, but you can control how you show up in love. Whether you choose presence over distraction, commitment over endless searching, reality over fantasy, the myth of the soulmate infantilizes us. It tells us, don't worry, the universe has a plan. Just wait. The perfect person will fall from the sky. But philosophy, real philosophy, slaps you awake and says, no one is coming to save you. No perfect half exists. Love is your responsibility. So maybe love isn't about finding the one. Maybe it's about becoming someone who can actually love. Because here's the paradox. The more you chase the illusion of perfection, the less capable you are of intimacy. But the more you embrace imperfection, in yourself and in others, the closer you get to something resembling truth. So, if the soulmate myth is a scam, where does that leave you? Alone? Hopeless? No. It leaves you with something much bigger. Freedom. Here's the twist nobody tells you. When you stop hunting for the one, you start living as if you are the one, not in some ego trip way, but in a grounded, practical way. Aristotle once said, happiness depends upon ourselves. Notice, not on a lover, not on destiny, not on some cosmic matchmaker, on ourselves. And that's not depressing. That's empowering. Because suddenly, you don't need to wait for someone to rescue you. You don't need to freeze your life until a stranger shows up with perfect vibes and Spotify playlists. You realize the most dangerous lie isn't love will fix everything. It's you are incomplete until someone loves you. Let's test this in the real world. You're at the gym, lifting. You're not thinking, damn, I need my soulmate to show up so my biceps grow. No, you show up, you sweat, you build. Same with your mental life. Same with your soul. Epictetus, the Stoic, dropped the hammer. No man is free who is not master of himself. That's the key. Mastering yourself. Not waiting for someone else to carry your weight. Here's the beauty. When you build wholeness on your own, relationships stop being crutches. They become amplifiers. Instead of, I need you to complete me, it's, I'm whole, you're whole. Let's create something bigger together. That's when love gets real. Not a desperate trade of insecurities, but two people showing up as themselves, messy but genuine. Imagine this. Instead of scrolling through Tinder like it's a clearance sale, you're living your life. You're pursuing passions, facing your demons, laughing at dumb memes, building something that matters. Then someone crosses your path, not because destiny forced it, but because your life is already in motion. That's connection, not dependency. Seneca put it sharply. As long as you live, keep learning how to live. And that includes learning how to live without waiting for the one. Here's the paradox of freedom. The moment you stop obsessing over love, you actually become more lovable. Because you're not clinging, you're not desperate, you're not performing to fit some fantasy. You're just you. And nothing is more magnetic than someone who's unapologetically whole. So, what does this all mean for you listening right now? It means the story you've been fed, that you're broken until someone saves you, is trash. Rip it up. Stop waiting for perfection. Stop demanding the universe hand you a soulmate like a prize at the end of suffering. Instead, start building yourself like you'd build a house. Brick by brick, mistake by mistake, with patience and sweat. Be the kind of person who doesn't just seek love, but creates it wherever they go. With friends, with family, with strangers, with yourself. And when someone does walk into your life, you won't ask, "Are you my other half?" You'll ask, "Do you want to walk with me, side by side, as two complete humans figuring this out?" That's not a fairy tale. That's better, because it's real. So yeah, there's no soulmate waiting with a cosmic sign. But there's something more powerful. You whole, alive, and capable of creating love every single day. And maybe that's what the philosophers were hinting at all along. Love isn't about finding the one. It's about realizing you were never half a person to begin with. So, if you made it all the way here, congrats. You just sat through a rant about soulmates, philosophy, and why you don't need anyone to fix your life. That already proves something. You're not like most people who click off after 30 seconds to watch cat videos. Now, here's the deal. If this made you think, if at some point you went, "Damn, that actually hits," then maybe, just maybe, you should hit that subscribe button. Not because I said so, but because it's probably the only way you'll remember to come back for the next existential punch in the face. And if you've got a story, like that time you thought you found the one and it blew up in your face, drop it in the comments. Trust me, other people need to hear they're not alone in this cosmic mess. Oh, and the like button. Think of it as you saying, "Yeah, keep dropping this kind of uncomfortable truth. It costs you nothing, but it tells me to keep going deeper down the rabbit hole." If you don't do any of that, cool. But if you do, maybe you'll be part of this weird little corner of the internet where we actually question life instead of just scrolling it away. So yeah, choose wisely.